We're talking 2023 Dynasty rookie talk, fantasy football, trade talk, whatever you want. Whatever you want. Live on the Dynasty channel here. Outside of the studio, I've been doing some editing, some hardcore editing on the rookie content. The Dynasty channel, which you're watching right now, is going to have a lot of Dynasty content upcoming this week. Doing this live stream because I was out running. I did a live stream, so I'm out of breath. I did a live stream on the main channel from my phone, doing it like we usually do, out and about, once a week or once every 2 weeks. I do a live stream out of the office, out of the studio, because I get a little tired of being cooped up all day. And I wanted to kill two birds with one stone. Get some food last minute at Lou Molinati's Pizzeria. You know what I'm talking about? Look at this. Yeah, buddies. And then, I wanted to come on here and talk Dynasty with you guys. I will be dropping some post-production, high-quality Dynasty content videos on the Dynasty channel this week, as well as going live a lot. I'm working on the running back video for 2023. What's up, Liz? I'm working on the running back video for 2023. Top 10 RBs, rookies, ranking them for 2023. I've already done a lot of rookie content. You guys kind of know my order, so to speak, of the 2023 rookie running back class, but I have yet to do, recently anyway, a video that mirrors what I did on the wide receivers today. So go to the main channel, youtube.com/the fantasy football show. That's where you'll find my video I dropped tonight, a 40-minute piece of content breaking down my top 10 Dynasty, or my top 10 2023 rookie wide receivers. By tomorrow, I imagine midday, if not noon, around noon, or maybe 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern, I should have the Dynasty, or not Dynasty, really it's Dynasty and Redraft, my top 10 running back video up. So ask questions if you got them. Heard of it from Bobby Lee. What are we talking about? Peanut, what's up, man? Excited for your rookie QB analysis. That'll be upcoming too. I would say in the next day or two, I'll have that content ready. So get ready for that. QBs will be up. Running backs will be up tomorrow. QBs should be up shortly after that. I would say within probably a day of tomorrow's running back video dropping, you'll probably see the QBs drop. I might do a tight end video, or I might just incorporate tight end rankings inside the mock draft. Because really there's only like two. A lot of people are talking about how great this tight end class is, but there's really only 2 or 3 that I like, and I'm going to incorporate that most likely. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that, but I might incorporate that content and that breakdown in the mock draft. So I'll do a rookie mock draft video, and I'll drop that on the main channel, and I'll do a rookie Dynasty mock draft video. So we'll be doing it all. We'll be dropping a lot of content in the next couple of days. Tight end take a few years to really get going anyways. Look, man, running out in the cold. My nose is running. I'm out of breath. I went on a mile run. I came out here to get in shape right in front of Lou Molinati's and do a live stream. And then I asked them if they were closing. They said in 8 minutes. And I was like, fire up a deep dish. Why not? I just went for a jog. But tight ends, you're looking at the number 1 tight end ranking analyst in the entire fantasy football industry, backed up by data from 2020, 2019, and 2018. So 2018, 2019, 2020, across 3 years, no one averaged more than or higher than I did, because I was number 1 in the entire industry according to Fantasy Pros in that 3-year time span. One of those years in which I ranked number 1, I think the other was number 6. But overall, I'm number 1 across the industry in that 3-year span of 2018, 2019, 2020. So I feel like I have a little authority to speak on breakout tight ends and trying to find the next Darren Waller, the next Jimmy Graham, 2 players that I ranked higher than anybody, the next Hawkinson. If any Fantasy Pros did an article on this, and they included a piece that said No one in the entire fantasy football industry had TJ Hawkinson ranked higher than Smitty. Nobody. Not one person had Hawkinson or Waller, for that matter, ranked higher than I did during their breakout years. The thing about tight ends, though, is that you can't tell as easily, just like that comment alluded to just a second ago. I forget who said that. Was it Roger? Who said that? Smitty, don't do it. Don't eat it. Go for another run. I'm doing it. I'm not going to eat the whole pizza. I'm going to have a slice tonight and eat the rest tomorrow. But the thing about tight ends, and I know this because I've been very good at tight end rankings, you don't know a whole lot. Kyle Pitts is easy to see coming, and a lot of people think Kyle Pitts busted and he's going to continue to bust. Well, I have news for you. Kyle Pitts is going to come back on a vengeance. Kyle Pitts is going to be a beast. He didn't have a shot. He didn't have a shot last year. He got injured, and he had Mariota not even throwing to him. He had Mariota not throwing him the football for the entire season. He was healthy. But unless you're talking about a Kyle Pitts, you're talking about a bunch of Hunter Henry looking players in college coming out that are very hard to distinguish from. And while I do think that there are 2 or 3 tight ends that I like in this class to potentially have that upside and ability to become the next Hawkinson or whatever, I don't think that we're going to know too much until about 2 years in. And it could be Musgrave, for all we know, who's like the 3rd or 4th tight end ranked. They all look very similar. Granted, you had 2 tight ends, I believe, that had 8 or 9 TDs each. And, they had, I think they both had about 8 or 9 scores too. So that very, very good productive years, the top 2. But McCade I like a lot. But until we know where he's going, who's throwing on the ball, how he develops at the NFL level, the NFL is very different. James says hit the like button. The NFL is very different in that when a tight end goes to the NFL, there's so much more growing that needs to happen that you can't see and forecast. So, like for tight ends, honestly, I'm not a big rookie tight end drafter. I'll almost always swoop in and try and buy the next Darren Waller, the next TJ Hawkinson, after they've developed enough for a year and I know what I'm looking at. I'm evaluating it. Never have I 0% of why I was the number 1 tight end ranker in the entire fantasy football industry over the course of 2018, 2019, 2020 had anything to do with rookie tight end evaluation, because you don't know. You don't know anything until these tight ends play the different game that is an NFL game. And so when you see a guy like Hawkinson through the course of a rookie season, you see Darren Waller potentially looking like he might be something special the next year. That's when you strike. And if you listen to me back before Waller broke out, before Hawkinson broke out, you could have bought both of them for pennies on the dollar coming out of their first seasons. I know Waller's an old dog that emerged late, but you know what I'm saying? In the same concept, you're going and getting him after his season that looked like there might be a promising season ahead. You made out like a bandit, and you didn't have to worry about investing early draft capital on a tight end that's going to take 2 or 3 years and maybe not even develop. So the tight end position is one that I advise not to develop through rookie drafts, not to develop through rookie draft selecting. I think you can do it coming off the rookie season or sophomore year and still get them at a price tag that is so outrageously good that it didn't do you any good to draft the tight end and avoid. And it's not so much about avoiding drafting a tight end. Like if you have a spare pick to toss around, sure. But when you draft a tight end, you're foregoing drafting maybe that upside running back like Spears, or maybe you're not drafting a wide receiver like, I don't know, Boutte or whatever. There's probably a wide receiver or running back or even a quarterback that you're passing on the opportunity that's much greater, much easier to land, and just go after the tight end in a different way later on in your draft. What team do you think is a sleeper for playoffs? Here's my pizza. Yeah, buddies. How's it going? Oh, Pete, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Yeah, buddies. Lou Malnati's Pizza. Um. Anyway, a sleeper team for the playoffs. I would probably say. I'd probably say, man, off the top of my head right now, Lions. The Lions are going to be, I think, trouble. I think another team that could be potentially like they made the playoffs last year, but the Miami Dolphins. I think the Miami Dolphins and Detroit Lions are both teams that could flourish. I think the Jets. I think the Jets could go. If you want to put money down on a team to win the Super Bowl early on before lines and odds change, New York Jets. I'm not saying the New York Jets are winning the Super Bowl. If anybody's asking me for a sleeper pick, my three picks right now would be the Lions, the Jets, and the Dolphins. And that's what it's all about, grabbing somebody that doesn't seem likely, right? Because the odds are extraordinary. Same thing could have been said for the Bengals, right? When I said the Bengals are going to win the division the year they made the Super Bowl, not this year, but the year prior, I was laughed out of every room I went in. I went into a bunch of funny story is I went into a clubhouse audio room with a bunch of gambling guys, and they asked. I went in there and I was shooting the Shiat with them, and the topic came up of who do you like that is kind of like an underrated team that could win the Super Bowl, and I said or win the division. And I said the Bengals, and I got laughed at. There were about 18 to 25 hardcore sports gamblers in that clubhouse room. And I said, I'm telling you, like I said, what you guys need to incorporate in your gambling, because they weren't fantasy guys. They were gambling. They gamble on basketball, football. They'd always go in there and go, hey, what do you guys like tonight? What? And then they'd all like pick something and they'd all go in on it. They'd look at spreads. They'd do a lot of basketball. And I said, what you guys got to incorporate is some fantasy football analyzing into your regime. And they're like, why would I do that? And I'm like, because someone like me knows what's about to change. Like, you're all about what happened last year. Oh, okay, the Bengals were bad last year, so you're walking into 2023 or 2020, it was 2021. You're walking into 2021 expecting the Bengals to be the exact same. My job is to try and foreshadow what's to come. I'm a harbinger of this situation, and I'm trying to find out what's going to change and what's going to alter course. Why do you not try and be predictive? They're all reactive. And so I said, example, because I was trying to tell them, you guys should incorporate fantasy football. You should all play fantasy to gain a knowledge. Johnny Lawrence, remember? Yeah, I know. Anyway, long story short, this one guy took my advice. He said, I'm going to put a big clip on the Bengals, and he won a boatload. He won a boatload. He put Bengals win the division. I'm going to trust you, Smitty. Everybody laughed. Guy put a clip of money on that. Won, and then he rolled it into them winning the Super Bowl, lost it all. But it was a great story anyway. But it was just goes to show that when I say Jets, when I say, and this is supposed to be a Dynasty channel, so you guys got to ask Dynasty questions. We're on a redraft topic right now, or a yearly topic. But when I say like Jets, Dolphins, or Lions to win the Super Bowl, if you want a long odd bet, like, understand what you're asking. You want a long odd bet. You want something that's going to look as dumb as me saying the Bengals will win the division and maybe make the Super Bowl in 2021, because that looks stupid, and it ended up being right. At least they went. Since you got on the tight end topic, which tight end would have the largest fall off this year from the vets? That's a great question. I mean, Waller already fell off, but the expectation will be maybe he could bounce back, right? So he's going to be a candidate for a bounce back and for a complete like leveling and never returning. I think Kelsey's always an uncomfortable topic in Dynasty for this, because this is a Dynasty channel, so this can't be a redraft question. So I'm going to twist it into a Dynasty question for you. You can't ask redraft questions on here. I mean, you can, but let's stick to the Dynasty topic because this is a Dynasty channel. So if I own Travis Kelsey, and I'm worried about drop off from a Dynasty perspective, not just 2023. 2023, I think they'll be okay. but he's getting older and his body's taking a lot of abuse. And in Dynasty, if I own Kelsey, now's the time to try and move him. I'm not saying trade him for garbage. I'm not saying he can't explode for one more year. I don't need anybody to tell me I'm wrong if Kelsey comes in and has a bad year, or I'm sorry, a great year, and then has a bad year in 2024, and say, Smitty, you said trade him in 2023. I'm saying in Dynasty, it's tempting to get rid of Kelsey while he still has, I'm the number one tight end in fantasy football value from a year to year perspective. You wait a year, if Kelsey does get hurt and misses half of a season, everyone and their mother is going to be like, no, he's going to start missing time. That's going to happen. It's going to be uncomfortable before it happens to talk about it. What is T Law worth in Dynasty draft picks? In a one QB league, Ron, good question. In a one QB league, I probably would say that in a one QB league, you probably aren't getting a first round pick or a tail end of the first round because I mean it depends on the need. It depends on how big the league is. If it's a 14 team or 16 team league, you'll get a mid first round pick or a mid to late. If it's a 12 team league, um, you'd be hard pressed to get a first rounder. You could maybe get like the 12 or 10 or 11 pick, maybe if it's already set and it's not like or a future pick, like a 2024, 2025 pick, because people will forego the future for the now. And it's understandable. I would too if I needed a pick, but I don't know that anybody's giving you like a 10 or an 8 or 7 or 6 or even a 9, maybe not even a 10 or 11 or 12. Count me in also if we get 12. Smitty is commissioner. I can't do another league. I got too many leagues. Let's start a dynasty league this year, says not Eric. You guys go ahead. I got to focus on content. I got too many leagues. I started 3 dynasty league follower leagues, and those are hard enough for me to keep up on. I barely set my lineup. I'm the worst owner because I'm live all the time. I'm live going into kickoff, and if Keenan Allen gets a hamstring injury in warmups and he's in my lineups, he's staying in my lineups, bro. Like that's the problem with me having 22 leagues. That's why best ball promo code Smitty is so good. And I wouldn't be commissioner. You think I have time to be a commissioner of a league, bro? The only leagues I play in now I have nothing to do with commissioning it. Trey McBride, I like Trey McBride a little bit. He's a good option, bro. I like him a lot. Smitty, are you still doing that Vince Vaughn league? I believe so. I got to get together with my buddy on that and see if we can get. I'm gonna try. I asked Scott Hansen if he would do it. The red zone, and he said he appreciated the invite, but he's at his maximum too. As much as he wants to play with like Vince Vaughn or any of those guys, but I'm gonna ask I'll ask some of the bigger peeps in the analyst game, and see if we can get a player or two. I played in a league last year with Eckler, Waller, Danny Woodhead, Quentin Richardson. A lot of NBA guys or former NBA guys, analysts, commentators, stuff like that from the NBA. I think the most famous person we ever had in our league from the basketball world was Gilbert Arenas. He was in our league, and Gilbert sucked. Gilbert barely set his lineup. Gilbert drafted Rob Gronkowski at his when he was at his end. This was a couple years ago. He drafted Rob Gronkowski in round 2. Like not talking about back in the day. We're talking about just like 2 years ago. He drafted him round 2. Gilbert Arenas was awful, but I'll probably get a few people like that in the league. It's gonna be great. But Vince Vaughn's pretty big into fantasy. So is we're gonna try and get we're gonna try and get a few people. I'm gonna save it for a surprise. I'll let you all know when the time comes. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Appreciate you joining me for a nice little nighttime Dynasty live stream. More content is on the way, like post production content. So get ready for that. I'll be creating rookie mock drafts and things like that. So we'll be doing it live. We'll be doing it live. I appreciate you all. Hit subscribe if you're new, and punch that thumb up button on your way out the door. Smitty out.